Hello and welcome to my show Conversation with Priya, and I'm your host Priya Mishra. And today we are gonna welcome a very energetic human being, Paul Webb, and he is been in energy industry for a long time. He has been talking about the renewable energy, how to use the energy, how to consume the energy in your day-to-day life as well, as the B2B aspect. So is in a major focus towards the B2B energy consumption. And I was really passionate about his entire journey. So we decided to have a discussion and bring the high value understanding of his long years. So help me to welcome Paul Webb today. Hi, Paul. Thank you for joining in. Welcome to my show, Conversation with Priya. How are you feeling today?
I'm very well, and good evening to you, and thank you for inviting me to talk today.
Pleasure. And my audience is so looking forward to this because I have been actually teasing them in terms of more energy, what I'm doing in it. So it is gonna be a very interesting conversation, I believe.
Excellent.
So
I'm sure it will be.
It will be, and I have heard your podcast, and you how much passionate you are into this sector, and how many people you have been training for so many years. It's amazing to see somebody is so passionately involved in this particular industry. So tell me something about you and what you do.
So I've been in the industry for 42 years since I left school, and I always joke with my audience to say I started in this industry when I was 4, but that's getting a bit of an old joke now. But as I say, I left school at the age of 16, went straight into working within the energy sector, working in a nuclear power station, just sort of as an apprentice. I was the electrical fitter maintaining a nuclear power station. And that was actually amazing sort of entry into the energy industry. And it's got me in the understanding of about energy and consumption and kilowatt hours, etc.
Right. Very interesting. So about what did inspire you to jump into it, like at so early age when people are not even thinking about, and it's been a couple of years. I mean, nowadays in last decades, people are more actively talking about energy. What
Yeah.
inspired you so many years ago?
I wanted to be, believe it or not, I wanted to be an electrician. I wanted to, my parents used to laugh at me because I used to take things apart but never put them back together again at a very young age. And I was inspired by my uncle who used to come along and do all the electric works, and I used to love the fact that making a circuit, flicking that switch and that light coming on at the end, that really did inspire me. And I was looking for an apprenticeship, and my dad come home from work with the local paper, and he said to me, "Son, you need to get into this. Look, energy, that's going to be the future. You know that. This is going to be the future." I didn't know it then, but 42 years later, I'm still in the industry. Yeah, I've had different roles within the industry, but it's been an absolutely amazing journey, and I've really enjoyed every minute of it.
Right. And how futuristic your father was.
Yes, he was. He was very.
Yeah,
Sadly, he passed away a couple of years ago, but he actually see on my journey of my career, so he did for it very well. Yes.
Yeah, and so good to showcase what he inspired you for and what you have been through. It must have been very proud moment for him, thinking that he introduced you one point of time and you are into it.
Definitely. So he worked for Ford's, the car factory industry, and he again was an engineer like myself. So he learned his trade when he was in the Royal Air Force, and he obviously wanted me to follow the footsteps of him being an engineer. So, and that's what I did. I went into being an electrician, then I become an engineer throughout my career. So my background is electronics engineer. That's my background.
Right. And you grew up in UK your entire life.
Yes, I've lived in the UK all my life, and the latter years I've got a property in Thailand, which I frequent on a regular basis as well.
Right. So all your life you have been thinking about how I can contribute to this industry, which is very passionate. See, why do you think it's a future for people? Like right nowadays, it's become a buzzword. Like everybody is talking about environment issues and this electrical issues, and energy is a big discussion, right?
Definitely.
Why do you think it becomes so important suddenly? It was important, but it becomes more important suddenly. I mean, of course, given the current scenario, all that COVID and the war situation and all, they're actually triggering a
Yeah.
lot of one. How people are actually thinking, seeing future towards it, and what do you see about it?
So the for me, energy's always been important, even back in them times.
Right.
And I followed a journey, and every year we've seen more drivers towards it. And in the beginning, it wasn't about climate change or sustainability; it was about cost. You
Hmm.
know, my dad used to again go back to my parents, and everyone's got this story where their parents come in and why are all the lights on in your room and you're downstairs? Why we got all the windows open and the heating's on, or cooling's on, depending on what country you're in. So it has always been important regarding cost. And what we've seen over the years is that been going towards sustainability and driving energy down because, they've identified that climate change and the sustainability is all connected partly towards us consuming energy. So
Right.
there's a connection there. So that was one of the drivers that brought in legislation, loads of legislation around regarding driving energy down, gas,
Mm-hmm.
electricity. I always include water into that equation as well. And then sort of obviously later years now, the period we're in currently, yes, sustainability is in our background and the full patterns of it. However, we're
True.
now focusing more on cost because energy's
Right.
gone up significantly. We've seen prices increase in the UK alone of 450% on their energy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've had one client, they was paying nearly £1 million a year for their energy. They're
Oh
now paying
gosh.
£3.5 million a year. It's a massive impact on it.
Mm.
And organizations have got to find this money extra to pay this. I've seen businesses go out of business. I've seen, we've had people come to us in tears regarding their bills, and we've had to help
Wow.
them understand their bills better, and
Yeah.
help try to manage their bills and their meter readings, etc. So we've seen a massive uptake in the mindset regarding energy, and
Mm.
now we've gone back to cost. It's all about reducing cost. But I like that because I call it the 3 C's. So you reduce consumption, you reduce the cost, and that reduces carbon without even thinking about it. And I think
Right.
if we focus more on reducing the cost, then we get the result of reducing carbon.
Yeah, and majority of people are actually, if you look at the below poverty line people, they are more concerned about, or lower caste people, we say, like not lower caste, like lower income people. Um, we actually think about more of a cost. We are conscious about money because,
Exactly.
of course,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is so hard to live day to day. Especially developing country, they are so conscious about money given their current, financial situation. That is more triggering point for majority of people to use more renewable energy than actually climate change. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, well, yes, I do, because um, energy is people's third largest expense after their property and after
Right.
people. That's
Mm.
in business and with your home life as well. So there's that focus. And if there's other ways we can be producing lower cost energy,
Right.
e.g., renewables. So
Right.
renewable is a lower cost if you put solar on your roof. Obviously, you've got to invest in getting that there, but there's a payback period. There's
Right.
always a cost to these things, but we need to spend to save. And sometimes it's more expensive to do nothing than actually to do something.
Mm. Mm. And do you think government should also take more initiative to reach out to the larger audience, larger people than currently they are doing? I know there are some countries and are offering grants and all, and we are
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about globally. Here in Australia, there is a percentage of grant support available for the renewable energy. And also I've heard in India, because I grew up in India, so I follow the
Yeah.
news. US also a little bit supportive, but a lot of countries are still not supporting for this kind of a initiative for people if they want to participate in. Do you think government should take more initiative to make it more accessible to the people?
So people who know me, I don't like to get too political in any of this, but I believe there needs to be leadership. I believe government, they're the leaders of countries and of groups. They need to take them steps to start leading. And yes, I do believe there needs to be more investment from the government, but I think individuals can make more of a difference as well. But we need to be led. There's legislation that we've had in the UK that really does need fine tuning to make a difference. I just feel, for me, governments say all the right things, but they don't
Yeah.
necessarily do all the right things, and that's what we need to bring closer together. And you talked about India. That's a very interesting statement there, because when we was in lockdown and everyone was talking on a regular basis, obviously I spent a lot of time on LinkedIn. India, for me, was the fastest growing energy community that I'd seen.
Yeah.
And it's still growing, and there's still a lot of students. I've mentored quite a few Indian students, and it's a growing market and very strong. And I think that's driven by the government as well.
Inspired me to ask this question, because if government is taking, I'm not going political here, I'm just same on your point, leadership. Somebody has to lead, and who better person is than their government, right?
Yeah,
because people
exactly.
look up to them, right?
Yeah.
They are inspiration for people to follow the rule. Okay, this is, I've been introduced, and you can take that initiative. That's how I see the government. They are our support system,
and they can build policy.
and
If they can build policy behind this, then we will follow that. So I do think they need to take the lead and become the leaders of this. Stop talking about it and have more action, because I think there's a big difference between talking and action. We see the COPs, the meetings, them standing up and talking about it, but when we get through the COP meetings, we don't really see a lot of action afterwards. There's a lot of work to do.
No. And I can see there are, when people go and meet in those all big summits happens, people go and meet and they do make promises, but the speed is still missing. So that's what I am noticing. But I like the approach that you started educating the kids, and you wrote a book about it.
Yes, I have.
Tell us something about that.
I wrote the book when I was 30, and the book's around about it's called The Little Orange Dinghy. And sorry for your viewers, but this is the Spanish version. So this is, and the artwork's been done by Kelly, who's done a really great, it's all been produced very nicely. You can see.
Right. Yeah.
And very easy to read. I was giving this, and I'm happy to give this away to schools and things. And the story is about a orange dinghy that finds himself in a race, and within seconds he has various different weather changes. One minute it's sunny, then it's raining, then it's stormy. And my favorite graphic, I must show you this. Let me show you. Is the white horses, because I wrote about the white horses, and that is where the waves start charging like white horses. You see that?
Oh wow, beautiful, beautiful.
So you can imagine 1 minute it's sunny, then it's raining. So he goes through these weather changes very, very quickly. And then in the back, we ask the questions to children, what's your experiences about the weather changes and, things that have happened in your life and how it's affected you. So it's quite an engaging book. And we've written it it's been done in English, and this is a Spanish version. And then we're always looking for someone else to come along and translate it into their language. It's on Amazon. All my books are I've got 6 books. They're all on Amazon. And So one of the things, thank you for inviting me here, but one of the things I'm always welcome about it, I'd love giving back. So 42 years of experience, if I
Right.
can give a snippet back to anyone listening to this today, then I've helped them make a difference. And if they've saved
True.
1%, that's 1% of energy I've saved that I didn't save before.
Hmm.
That's really important for me. That's why I like to sort of do these presentations and meet with people.
Yeah, I mean, that 1% makes a lot of difference. I started saving when I was very little, and I didn't have any, serviceability at that time, to be honest. I was somehow trying to survive. And that time also, my dad taught me that you should give 1% of your income to someone you don't know,
Mm.
right? Because if you are doing it to somebody it will be definitely a selfish reason because you love that person, you connected to blood relation, whatever
Understand
it
that, yeah.
is, right? So your energy is actually connected with that person. So you will definitely help you whether you are capable enough or not, right? But when you help somebody, a human who are nowhere connected with you, they are the real, that's more selflessness you build, right? So, and I've been doing it for years since I've been, started earning little money. And today also in corporality, we offer 1% of our income to charitables and help different causes. I'm a big fan of having that social impact context. Like people
Right.
should have that, everybody should have that mindset about social context, and like you have to make a change. Every droplet matters in when it comes to the filling a pot, right? So it is,
So
yeah.
in line with that, I also plant X amount of trees on a regular basis to Kenya. So I donate money to Kenya. A friend of
Yeah.
mine called Festus, he's on LinkedIn, and I send him money regularly. So everyone who takes up my training, I buy them a tree. So they all
Right.
get trees. So I'm slowly getting a forest out in Kenya, which is, with the
That's
B2B Energy name on, which I'm really proud of as well.
Yeah, that is so cool. And that's what I also started doing in India. I'm big fan of building the native
Right,
ecosystem. So I don't know if you know the people, majority of people are planting, but they are planting more for a commercial reason or whatever reason. They're not considering what was local there, right?
right. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that local Mother Nature has created that local environment for a reason. So they
Mm,
have, every country, every region has its own local plants, its own local insects, its own local birds. Like, all that is dependent, the whole life cycle dependent on that, right? So when I plant, I go and look for what was local here, right? And I
right.
would like to do that one so that I can encourage the local ecosystem. I want to bring the local ecosystem. I'm a big fan of local, eco sustainability concept. So
Do you know also as well when you obviously I send money for Festus's team to go and plant a tree. I've given someone work and I've helped them feed their family maybe. So it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? You're helping to plant a tree, which is going to one day grow and provide carbon absorption, and also you're helping someone with their life. I'm helping Festus with his business. I'm helping someone with, has had to go and plant, been paid that money for that day to go and dig that hole to plant that tree. So it's very rewarding, I
it
believe.
is fulfilling. And I also saw that you have another book is purely on energy related training. Tell me something
Yes.
about that.
So I've many people used to ask me, what's an energy expert do? What do you do? And I used to think,
Yeah.
when I was younger, I really struggled to explain because, energy management, I'm turning things off or whatever. But so I started to get an understanding. So first of all, what is energy?
Yeah.
How can we save energy management? So I created what I call the four principles. And the four
Mm-hmm.
principles are: we review, we
Mm-hmm.
realign, we reduce, and we report. Those
Mm.
four principles then for me needed a process to manage those four principles. And I come up with the 11-week energy program. And this is the the book I wrote around that. And that's the training manual as well as a workbook. 11th of January, I trained 11 people for 11 weeks on this on LinkedIn for free. They come to me every week. I sent them videos, I sent them text, and then I created an exam after 11 weeks. And that is how it was born. The book then was evolved, and now I train people on a regular basis. I've got an online platform that delivers this. They do the online platform, and I meet with them for an hour once a week to mentor them and guide them. And already I've taken people from, I say, from zero to hero regarding energy management.
Right.
And that's sort of something I'm really proud of.
Yeah, that course is free available, I think, right now as well, right? For people can join that.
Yes.
Right.
So the full principal course is free. They can go and do that online. They just have to register, and then the course just pops up and they can do that, and they get a certificate. And if it's of value to them, they get what we call a CPD hour for that training course, which is sponsored by Esther. And then once they've done that, they can talk to me about taking the next level on this course. And then we've got a whole complete journey for them after this training course. But from this training course, they can go and deliver energy management systems to an organization, and that's how my business works. My business works around this process as well.
Right. Very interesting. So now I'm coming back to your personal side, and I'm going to ask you.
You like to jump around, don't you?
Yeah.
Keep me on my toes.
That's what the fun. Because people are looking forward for the people like you to get inspired, and I've known like you, and I've known your journey. So I would like to, for the audience sake, I would like to know what was your turning point, in your career, and what inspired you to keep going every day?
So I've got a couple of, or many turning points. So the first turning point regarding energy. So I was working at a nuclear power station. I was working nights. So I was walking around a power station. So nuclear power stations, they run flat. They just produce energy on a flat rate. Doesn't matter whether it's needed or not. They provide a flat base rate.
Right.
So the energy, I was walking around the power station at, say, 2:00 in the morning, and these turbines were screaming. The energy was coming out of these turbines. I'm thinking, who would be using energy at this time of morning? Why are we using this energy? Why can't we be using this energy better? We could be saving this energy possibly. So I then decided that, maybe I learned how to produce energy. I wanted now to learn how to save it. And that's where I started to research saving energy.
Wow. Okay.
And that was my stepping point from working at the power station to becoming, I then worked for the Met Police as an energy manager, an energy officer on the police, in all the police stations in London. So that was my introduction to sort of energy management. And then from there, I worked for various different organizations, controls companies. So I worked for Trend, who are now Schneider. No, sorry, Trend, who are now Honeywell. Sorry, Schneider. Trend, who are now Honeywell, and then Satchwell and now Schneider. And then from there, my next turning point was, I want to be doing this on my own. I want to be delivering this for organizations my way and working with organizations personally. So I started doing that. So I set up my own business about 17 years ago to build my own business and start doing this for myself with organizations. And that was very successful. And I got one more turning point. So LinkedIn, this is my inspiration for LinkedIn. And I think LinkedIn is a massive process, and everyone in business or in jobs should be jumping onto LinkedIn. So I had about 4,000 people on my connections following me. But I wasn't doing videos and things like that. And a friend of mine, Vanini Vig, she became my coach regarding LinkedIn. She said to me, you need to be doing more personal stuff, more videos. I went, have you heard my voice? I sound like EastEnders. I've got a dreadful voice. And she said, and she got her phone. And she said, look, tell me what you do. And she put the phone in my face, recorded me. And she said, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm an energy expert, da-da-da-da, and I talked about it. And she stopped it and we played it back. And I watched this video and I thought, that's really good. I quite like that.
Not too bad.
I could, that's not too bad. So bang. So
Yes.
I went from 4,000 people following me to now 40,000 people. I do videos, I blog, I do podcasts, I do interviews, I talk about energy. All up, my passion now is really just exploded. And it's all because of Vanini. I always tell her this. She put that camera.
Bless her.
God bless. The inspiration is you've got to push yourself out of your comfort zone. I was comfortable in my own little world of being passionate. Yeah. But now I've burst open and I'm being passionate to everyone in the world. And I've got 40,000 people. My business has grown. My podcast is amazing. I really enjoy. It's only amazing because I love it. You know, I really love interviewing people from all over the world. So it just happened. And I hadn't written a book. And then from there, my book writing started. I am useless at writing, you know, but I just started to bring it all together into my books. It was a massive turning point. That was the biggest turning point, really. But I had loads of little stepping stones towards it. And do you know what? There'll be more of those inspirational moments, which will continue my career, I'm sure.
And I mean, I'm in marketing, as you know, but I tell people that it's a number game. The better, you know, if it comes to the social media and, you know, any kind of a popularity context, like you have to very, very particular about know your numbers. You know, what magic number will bring your turning point and, you know, success in your life. And it's a consistency, the perseverance, the regularity.
Exactly. You said that word. That's an important word. Be consistent. Turn up every day. And another thing, be prolific. Not perfect. You do not have to put perfect text out there every single day. Just be prolific. Yeah. I have people sometimes telling me, oh, you spelt that wrong. I mean, I'm an energy consultant, not
me too. I keep
an English
getting
teacher.
That.
Yeah. So just don't worry about it. And, you know, when I do my podcasting, I listen to it. If you really listen to my first episodes, you go, I listen back and think, oh, God, that sounded awful. But it gets better and better and better. I'm not taking them down, them bad episodes, because that's me. It's what I've done, you know.
Yeah. And I always tell people, don't get stuck into the perfection. It's the more consistent you will be, and the more show up you'll do. It all adds up, you know, eventually. So, I mean, there are a lot of. I've been working in, you know, innovation industry for many years now, and I've noticed majority of top-notch genius engineers I have met, and they stuck into a perfection loop. And since it was not perfect, it never launched, right?
I totally agree with you. You hear that a lot.
It's so sad. It's so sad that world miss out those genius ideas, to be honest, right? You never know. So that's why I always encourage people to go out there, you know, and don't be afraid of getting judged or, you know, rejected. Either way. I've been judged every day. I still get judged, and I'm okay with that. And I've never claimed that I'm perfect, and I'm not God. I'm just a human. I make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Right.
For every person that judges you, there's 10 people that are admiring you.
Yeah.
And the one person that will judge you, there's 10 people that won't tell you that they really admire you. So don't worry about it. You know, it's not, it's
not about others. It's about how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
That's important.
Exactly.
So it's been very interesting conversation so far. So we are coming to the end of our conversation. I would like to ask you, what would you like to give, like a tip of a day or a cent, if anybody wants to start in this particular industry? Because climate change is a big thing. Everybody wants to get into this and want to help the world and themselves as well. What would be your last 1 cent for people who are jumping new into this industry?
If I was going to start again, I'd look back to how I started, and it was all about my passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I put myself out there. I pushed myself. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. If you want something, push yourself into that area that you want to go to. It may be uncomfortable because you don't know what is going to happen out there, but just by pushing yourself out of your comfort zone will make all the difference. I've been doing that for most of my career, and it's been really valuable to me going forward. It's one thing I think, looking back, is what's made me today, is living out my comfort zone.
Right. So thank you so much. It was nice, and again, another inspirational discussion with you, and it's gonna be many more to come. And I'm sure people can start with your course, and all the details will be given in under our description. Where can people find you? You're more active on LinkedIn. I know people can reach out to you on LinkedIn. So how else we can?
I have a website, which is b2benergy.co.uk. That's another good place. I also have a YouTube channel and my podcast. So my podcast is called Energy Speaks Back. If they want to look for my books, my books are all on Amazon. So really, if you type Paul Webb Energy Expert on Google, you will find me.
Very good. And that's why SEO is mandatory these days for people to be fast. So all those details are gonna given on our description, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and we will be looking forward to hearing your comments, audience. And if you have any question, reach out to us, and I'm sure we can connect you and get the answer from Paul. And we'll be looking forward to hearing back from all of our audience. Thank you so much, Paul, for joining in today.
Thank you. And Priya, please continue your great work.
Thank you so much. And it's been an honor to have you on our episode, and we will look forward for another one.
Thank
you.